I've been playing this game for a whole year now, and honestly, I'm glad I did. My opinions have changed, my approach to the game has changed, even I've changed. I find myself helping out, teaching people, and learning as I do. But why did it feel good? And bad? And how am I handling a recent loss? How am I handling helping people? What are my future goals? Hey YouTube, Foriknar here, and as you probably guessed, this video is all about my first year in the Pokemon trading card game. My background with card games, how I got into this one, what I've learnt, and what I've achieved. Yeah, spoiler alert, I freaking love it. Whether you're brand new, or you've been in the game for years, I just want to share what this year has meant to me. I have played a lot of card games, for probably 8 or 9 years, which is a lot. It is as much a part of me as I am myself, and it is my core. Deep down, at my core, this is part of me. I can't get rid of it. But even before those 8 or 9 years, I'd played the Pokemon card game before. I wasn't doing this blind. But the Pokemon card game was also never interesting to me. And I'll get onto why in a bit, but first, when I was starting, it was 7 or 8 years of experience. I had a clue of what I was doing. Shuffling, hand management, resource management. I understood the fundamentals, except just maybe not how it applied to Pokemon itself. But when I came over to Pokemon, it was easy to build decks that furthered my idea of resource management. Chien-Pao, Charizard, Gardevoir. A lot of management I hadn't done before, especially with competitive decks. Honestly, even by diving into Pokemon, I feel like I've unlocked so much more for every card game I play. Because learning is fun, and I'm really passionate. And even when I play other TCGs, I use the skills that I am learning in this game. By playing this game, I am constantly improving. I am improving my history with other card games, and I am improving my own skills. Winning has always been important to me, but when I was playing Vanguard, learning more, thinking about not doing this or doing this, that was always important too. Learning and improving is always important to me. Okay, so, I'm a massive nerd who likes to learn, right? I have for sure heard of Pokemon. Of course I have. I used to be the gal for Pokemon. Playing the games? Of course. Watching the anime? Every day, baby. Playing the card game? That's one of my more lacking areas of expertise. Again, I'll get onto that in a moment. But from watching late games play Pixelmon, or going into my own journeys, I was always into Pokemon. And then I grew out of it. It was childish. Not me. I was so cringed out and embarrassed. And of course, I did play still. Sun and Moon, Shield, Violet, got Yellow on my 3DS. Played my siblings' Let's Go. But it wasn't a huge part of my life. That belonged to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Vanguard, because I'm still a nerd. Maybe I would have stayed if I enjoyed the TCG more, but I doubt it. I don't think I would have stayed as much. So, if I might have stayed, why didn't I like the card game? Well, the problem is something I still kind of have, but the more I teach, the more I don't see it as much. When you're starting out, you have battle academies, or the V or EX battle decks. You don't get a scale of it. It's so slow. And yes, that's good for teaching. I'm not denying that. I just couldn't get into it because of that. Because when I started, and when I first got this idea that it's really difficult to get into, there wasn't like the League battle decks. There was nothing grabbing me in, making me feel curious or excited until I discovered competitive Pokemon. I think the first match I ever saw was LAIC, where God of War was on stream, and something about seeing those refinements was incredible. I mean, so incredible. I was downloading TCG Live, I think, later that day, because this wasn't the beginner's TCG that I was led to believe Pokemon definitely was. This was something new. There was a whole new world for me to see, a world that I could do well in, and I had to start somewhere. So that brings me to my next section. Emptiness is the root of all things. Zero is the root of all things. When you know nothing and begin to learn, that's what learning is. That's what growing is. And it's fun. I know I did know how to play when I started, but I knew like a game's worth of content. I knew the basics, and even some of that I barely remembered. So when I began to learn, I joined my local Discord, fired up TCG Live, and let the games begin. I was always trying to learn. From what the Lost Zone was, just to sequencing, I really sucked at first, but I was learning. And honest to God, that was making the losses worth it. TCG Live has its bugs, but I learnt enough. I started with Lost Box Giratina, because it was one of the pre-built decks and I liked it. It clicked really well. I saw a load of ways to get the strategy out, though maybe I focused too much on Giratina. But if you saw the deck, it'd make sense. I was winning and I was losing, but both were learning experiences. The losses sucked, but the wins were always sweet. I still sucked at sequencing, of course, but I did manage to justify it in my head, using the item to filter out the deck first, before deciding which supporter to use. It was the core idea of sequencing, just not as good as it should have been. But I guess that's what happens when you're new, right? Especially because I improved. I understood why players used Switch Cart, why people did things, what the vision of the deck was. It wasn't one moment of clarity, but a bunch of moments all layered on top of each other. It felt real. The same realness I feel teaching people to play. It is weird, but amazing, and I love it. There was something interesting. I wasn't just playing piles with some form of strategy, it was proper, refined decks. And as someone from Yu-Gi-Oh!, it felt weird to net deck. Even though if you think about it, it makes sense. They're good decks. If you want to learn, you use them and learn them. There's a reason God of War is so refined right now, even if it did just lose Curlier. So I think since I started playing, Limitless has become one of the most visited sites of all time for me. It is so versatile. I can join online tournaments or look at tournament data, whatever. It is so helpful. But the more I looked at Limitless, the more a different question popped up. What deck do I want to play long term? I've never played with a proper rotating format, ever. Even with Magic, I'd get into it for like one set and then never again. So, I pick something that doesn't rotate, don't I? So, starting with a Quaquaval battle deck and I want to play, I was gonna play. And at my first tournament, I pulled off a cheesy win. Still a win though, but because of that, I didn't get a bye. I still went like 1-3 or 2-3 or something. I think it was 1-3. I forget. But I still won. And because the deck kind of sucked, I was very, and I say this very kindly, gifted a Chimpao EX. That was it. That was my goal. I remember trying to figure out the exact list and just thinking, why is this like that? Why is this like that? This was before Badu, so Chimpao could still hold its ground, but I don't know. It wasn't the greatest. I had the backline, I had older cards like Ultra Balls and Plenties, and I didn't need to go buy a full deck. I did have to buy some of the cards, the Last Irida, Iron Hands, Bundle, and Bibarel. I didn't grab everything though. I left out Superior Energy Retrieval and some cards like Prime Capture, but it was most of it. And it was done. I was actually playing something decent. The best? No. Good enough? Yeah! I built myself up from there. From Chien-Pao to Gardevoir, from Gardevoir to Charizard, and this channel. I've had options. Consistent options. I don't remember how my first tournament with a full deck went. I do remember I had ups and downs, but I keep saying that because it's true. There are a lot of ups and downs. But I did decently, especially in a meta where Chien-Pao wasn't the greatest deck. But I wasn't just learning anymore. I was competing. I had decks I understood, games I could win, and a meta I could talk about. But with growth comes pressure. And that's where things got interesting. Sure, it wasn't an anime. Everyone relies on my pressure, but it's a feeling I feel to this day. I'll get onto that. Okay, a recent loss. That's what I want to talk about. And the pressure from it. Because as fun as playing meme decks is at a challenge, I was taking cups seriously. Even when I lost, I was learning. I have a whole notebook that was custom made for me. But as of writing, I've just suffered a heavy loss. And I don't mean I went 0-5 and felt sad. I meant I went 0-2 and just couldn't. I was on Blissey, maybe not the best deck, but a deck I had faith in. At least, I thought I had faith in. The theory crafting and the testing, that was fun. This wasn't some piloting issue. Or, well, I suppose it was, but it wasn't, massive. The theory crafting was fun. It was a list that I had tested, and I felt justified because it did well at a tournament. My list did well at a tournament, but also, it wasn't some net deck. I liked this deck. And I had gotten advice. I had made sure that I was confident in this. But it wasn't something I was enthusiastic on. I liked it. I didn't hate it. It just wasn't calling to me specifically. Nothing was. Nothing in the format was calling to me specifically. It's not bad, but it wouldn't have been my definite choice. I was torn between Blissey, Guardy, or Great Tusk. But the person I was going to test with kept brushing me off. Later. Yeah, in a bit. I should have caught it. I should have done more testing with other people, but it was too late to just arrange other stuff. I did a couple days across the week before, but by then it felt too late. Even with live, it wasn't enough. But I chose Blissey. I had sunk time, and had traded, and I went to that tourney. Yeah, I dropped round 2. I could have kept playing, but the deck felt horrible. Even if I had Trolley in hand, the hands felt horrible. I would rather spend my time off doing something else rather than play that all day. I'm sure somebody could have success with it, but I was having bad luck. I didn't want to play that. I liked the theory, but not the actuality. I don't get to do cups often. I can't go to other close tournaments. So it's just this locals I do right now. But the deck ate at me, and I feel like I wasted that cup that I only get to do once per quarter. I didn't expect to, make top cut, but I expected it to feel slightly better. I don't know what to say. The deck has potential, but not with me. So, what was the point? Why did I try and try and try and try and try? Why did I play and play and play, only to waste my money and just go home? I don't have an answer. I still don't actually. It sucked. I wasted my money, and I just can't stop thinking about me losing out on that experience. I want to have fun though, and why bother playing if I'm not going to have fun? Even if I lost, as long as it was fun, I would have liked it. So, when talking on the Discord, I found a new deck. Same Blissey, just with Ogre and Squawk, and it's been a lot more fun. I mean it, a lot more. It has felt more consistent, more survivable. Sure, Ogre is a risk, but you'll still live if Ogre knocked out. I'm having fun with it, and yeah. However, I recently also worked on a volunteering project, teaching people about the game. And on that day, I was talking to one of the judges about taking the professor's exam, because that experience was fun. Teaching people was fun. Helping people was fun. I think if I didn't like any specific deck, like Blissey there, and had no enthusiasm for a specific one, I'd rather have just judged. Which, when I'm next eligible, is going to be the goal. I want to become a professor. Is it going to be easy? No. But I think, if I've done anything, I've spent that £15 to decide that, hell yeah, I want to help people. That's how I want to do things. It was a learning experience. That's what it was. And I suppose, if I'm talking about a learning experience, I might as well talk about events. Because I love them. I've played in a lot of challenges, a few cups, and EUIC, where I got top half. And I'm really proud of that, especially for a first event. So, what's my opinion of them? Well, I say do them. Tournaments are fun, and as long as you practice and trust yourself, don't go in all, I don't know what I'm going to play and just expect to top. I like to have a nice variety of decks. Blissey, Guardy, Great Tusk, Joltik Box. A lot of options. The Blissey result was just unlucky because of a lack of practice and bad hands. Seriously. Both times I faced Terrorbox, nothing but an active and a nest ball kept getting donked. It sucked. But also remember to have fun. I don't just practice real decks, but also funny ones. Elemental Monkeys, Tatsugiri, Azumarill, I've seen Flamigo around. The best decks? No. Funny? Hell yeah. And they weren't just bad, but they were fun, they were exciting, and I did win with them. I know I keep repeating that word, fun. The decks were fun and exciting to play and whatever, but that's because they were. Of course, events aren't only tournaments. For example, that volunteering I did, helping teach people to play at the local league. I love helping people and teaching them, and again, I want to become a professor, I want to teach. I said earlier about the professor's exam, and when I'm next eligible, I'm going to study, I'm going to learn, and I'm going to do it. Not, I'm going to try, I'm going to do it. I know I am. I'm going to put everything I have into that test. And if I go, oh yeah, I'm going to try to do it. No, I won't. I don't think I can. I know I can. Do or do not, there is no try. Same for when I saw my league at a Comic-Con. The demo fights were simpler, but I saw so many people try to learn. It wasn't some kid thing. It was a community for everyone. A kid who knew how to play but had to learn. Parents learning with their kids. I mean, adults who wanted to learn together, friends. Teens who knew how to play, coming along to teach their friends. Pokemon is a large global brand, and playing and learning is honestly so fun. I want to do more of those events. I want to teach more. But of course, this hobby goes beyond just playing. You've got content creation, but also you've got collecting. Okay, maybe we should be talking about collecting right now, because it is not the greatest thing. Market prices are inflated, and we're in a scalping frenzy right now. No, seriously, Destined Rivals is being released about the time of recording. I didn't even bother to go down to my LGS. Too large a queue, 2 little rewards, didn't get a pre-order in. I hope you can hear that breath. But that doesn't mean I can't talk about collecting. Even with scalpers, I've built a decent collection. From pre-releases and buying singles, to an ETB or few that I've bought. I've been collecting alt arts, cool EXs, even a damn Yukimori binder. But it's not just what I collect. It's been enlightening to see collectors not focused on the game. Pokemon is a game for everyone. It appeals to every demographic. And it has been a blast rooting through bulk to find cool cards, pretty arts, and funny cards I could use in decks. Seeing people care less about rarity is fun. Helps put a bit of my mind at ease. And I followed suit. Because I have pulled cards. I have pulled cards, Gold Countercatcher for example, but it was sat in my trade binder for ages with no one picking it out. So I traded it to one of the collectors for a bit below the price, because she had cards I needed, and no one wanted it. The joy of a collector was more important than pricing in my eyes. Of course, I have pulled good cards, and I have traded them and bought them. I've won them through play packs, and part of my collection is just a bunch of alt arts I like, because that's what you do with them. I haven't had a drive to collect any particular set, for now, but I'm having a blast, and I'm having fun. I've had people root through my bulk. Hell, I've rooted through my bulk. For collecting funny text, I've got a whole ETB of just cards. I make videos, obviously, you're watching one right now. I've tried YouTube before, but never got it off the ground, until now. I can talk about card games, try to improve constantly, and take the notes I'm already using and turn them into content to help people. If I do end up becoming a professor one day, which I intend to do, I'm already doing this. Helping people is why I do it, and if this is what I need to do to get used to it, so be it. I'll use YouTube to get to improve how I talk and explain things and become a better professor. So give me feedback. Ideally, I'm going to be improving my setup to a proper PC and will be massively increasing the audio quality from what I do now. Same for the visual quality. But also, if people need to understand a concept, please let me know. I want to help. YouTube is so much fun to make. And even if I've only got a few videos out, some hidden or deleted, I still want to do this. We're at the end of the video now, and I have to ask, what did I learn and what are my thoughts? Honestly, I've learned a lot, and I've changed a lot. This game isn't something I do to pass the time anymore. It means something to me. I don't even know what I'd do without it. Who would I be without this? But it doesn't just mean something to me. It means something to other people. Players, collectors, casual fans, competitive grinders. I've learnt a lot. I've learnt how to trade fairly, how to care for my cards, how to be patient, how to share. Okay, that sounds like I'm a kid. But whatever. Point still stands. I've met people from all over the world, my childhood heroes, some of the closest friends, and even just rivals across the table. I've seen people bring ideas to the game that I never would have imagined. Fresh eyes on a game I have loved for this entire year, and has helped me fall in love with it, format after format. So what did I learn? Pokemon is a language, a connection, a bridge, and I am so glad that I have learnt it. I have felt it. I have crossed it. So with that, thank you to Sharavari for this PNG YouTuber icon. The music will be linked down below. And I hope you have a good day, night, afternoon, or evening, and I'll see you in my next year. Goodbye!